What's going on in your mind?
My friend,
thank you.
It's easy. You need to make sure that people are on business.
Thank you. If that is, kama hivyo ndo utajitetea,
You have to make sure that people are on business.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, man.
Lunch needs to be bought.
That is okay.
Nione nyuma ya tent.
Lunch needs to be bought.
If nione nyuma ya tent, tutalainisha maneno.
Na si lunch ya pesa kidogo.
I
know your pockets are heavy.
Wewe kuja tu niambie unataka nini.
Bado ni end month. End month bado haijaisha. Yeah.
Unless the pesa imeisha na nyanya.
It's okay, guys. So, allow me to dive into the world of news for the next 25 minutes or so. And my name is Giverson Minor. So start interacting with us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, and of course mine is at Giverson Minor. And now let's get started. Fuel stock out or continued for the third day in many parts of the country as the government moved in to quell shortage fears. Several retailers in Nairobi recorded long queues with motorists facing the risk of stalled vehicles. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi has blamed the fuel shortage on a system which is curtailing the normal distribution of fuel. Alana Oka with more.
This has been the situation in Nairobi and many other parts of the country. Frustrated motorists have been spending hours to energize their vehicles. The situation has been building up over the last week as supply chain disruptions affected many retailers. Data from the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Kenya's average daily fuel consumption stands at approximately 15.4 million litres, with diesel being the most consumed at 9.1 million litres per day. Driven by public transport, heavy-duty trucks and industrial machinery, super petrol stands at 6.3 million litres per day, primarily used by private passenger vehicles and motorcycles.
Sababu hatuna mafuta, unaenda kwa petrol station like yesterday, nimeshinda huko Wayaki way yote. Mafuta ilikuwa inapatikana huko Westland Ola peke yake.
Ishi ya mafuta imekuwa ngumu sana, unapata unazunguka kama sasa hivi nimeingia petrol station kama 3.
Mimi hapa Lodwa kuna shida kidogo, mafuta yako kwa upungufu sana. Ukuje kwa wingi kama hapo nyuma.
Now the government has moved to allay fears, insisting that Kenya is fuel secure.
We have got adequate fuel supplies in the pipeline system, Honorable Speaker. All the products, petrol, diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, Honorable Speaker.
Responding to questions by members of the Senate, Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi has said the government is engaging with oil marketers and the Kenya Pipeline Company.
I just want to appeal to Kenyans to be patient and to bear with us as we address some of these small hitches.
This comes even as public health practitioners warned of a looming health crisis caused by high sulfur content in fuel used locally.
The presence of sulfur in anything can cause a lot of health issues. Like I've said, they should do the upper respiratory inspections, and also they should do the pollution.
The 6-month waiver that targets both petrol and diesel is meant to alleviate fuel shortages amid fears that the sulfur emissions could lead to an increase in respiratory diseases.
And our Deputy President Kitui Kindiki has assured residents of Kitui County that the government has firmed up security following recent killings in Saikuru and Kadungo areas. These after 7 people were killed by alleged camel herders and another 8 lose their lives in retaliation attacks in a conflict along Garissa-Kitui border. A grade 7 Alana was also hacked to death in Kadungo, Kitui County, allegedly by camel herders. Take a look. Speaking on Wednesday, after gracing the 3rd Annual Regulatory Authorities and Agencies Conference at Southeastern Kenya University in Kitui County, Deputy President Kitui Kindiki said a lasting solution to the conflict is achievable.
I want to give assurance to the people of Kitui that we will return normalcy and sustain normalcy. It is barbaric for citizens to kill one another for whatever reason. We are taking every effort to make sure that those who are responsible for the death of quite a number of Kenyans we take action.
He said the incident was a case of criminals taking advantage of the conflict associated with natural resources to maim innocent Kenyans.
And I don't think anybody has a right to graze another person's crops to save their livestock from death. As much as saving livestock from death is a legitimate objective, it cannot be used as a basis of violating the property rights of other people.
Kindiki warning that anyone involved in the conflict, be it a political leader or a government official, will not be pardoned.
Even between there is a political leader or a member of government who is involved, that should not be a difficult thing because, you know, crime is just crime.
The deputy president also vowed that all security agencies were on high alert to prevent the reoccurrence of the deadly attacks that left a total of 15 people dead, including a 14-year-old grade 7 learner. Now, senators are calling for urgent reforms on the Equalization Fund to ensure the monies benefit marginalized communities as intended. Now, during a heated debate on Wednesday afternoon, lawmakers raised concerns over delays in the disbursement of the funds from the Exchequer, indicating arrears amounting to 62 billion shillings. The senators also took issue with the delays in the implementation of basic services projects under the fund by the county bosses.
Debate by senators while considering the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill of 2025 brought to the fore deep-seated challenges that the lawmakers say have affected the purpose intended by the fund. The fund meant to finance basic services such as water, electricity, healthcare and infrastructure in underserved areas, according to the senators, has not been efficiently disbursed by the Treasury, with only 13.4 billion shillings distributed since its establishment.
The entitlement that this fund has is about 79.58 billion that needs to go into this fund, Mr. Speaker. And so far, we have only seen an appropriation of about 62 billion to this fund. And out of this, Mr. Speaker, a majority of it has not been given.
So for a period of 60 years, you don't have roads. And then you are being given installments of 12 billion, 16 billion. It will take proper lifetimes. There's people who will die in some of these areas without ever seeing electricity or roads. And I think for me, it is unfair because they continue to be Kenyans and they continue to pay taxes.
County bosses have also been put on the spot for the delays in the implementation of the projects.
There is a project between Isiolo and Oldonyiro, a bridge called Karandare. That project was allocated or rather funded in 2021 through Equalization Fund. If you go and see that project, Mr. Speaker, up to date, it's not even done 40%. People who are using that road and that bridge are still suffering.
So long as there is no complete project, so long as it is an array of a building that is at 60%, a bridge that is on 20%, Mr. Speaker, another hospital that is at 70%, it will never make sense to people, Mr. Speaker. In fact, the ultimate measure, Mr. Speaker, of a good manager of resources, a good governor, a good county government, Mr. Speaker, should be measured by projects that begin from start to completion.
In the financial year 2025-2026, counties under the equalization were allocated 10.6 billion shillings, with the next financial year's allocation being 16.8 billion shillings.
This 16.8 billion, I hope this amount will be put into good use so that we reduce the number of counties that are going to be qualifying for Equalization Fund as we progress.
May this House take note and make sure that we can be able to bring a stronger conversation on the honoring of what has been appropriated.
The senators have vowed to push for a clear strategy to ensure timely release and effective utilization of the funds, as well as full settlement of the arrears.
Now, the Central Organization of Trade Unions has condemned DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua's remarks directed towards Francis Tuoli and the trade union. KOTU chairperson Reverend Joel Chebi claims that Gachagua is a bitter leader who has no welfare of anybody at heart and is only driven by vendetta.
We have a labor union led by a Secretary General, sorry to say, a professional broker.
The staff union, the management, the supervisors, all of us are rallying call to replace KOTU with the new labor.
It is the remarks by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua proposing an alternative workers' organization separate from KOTU that is not syncing well with the trade unionists.
We are not fearing as many centers as possible. They can bring many centers. The law, the requirement is that the most representative national center is the one that is recognized by governments of each country and by extension by ILO.
And our constitution provides that every worker has a right to join a union of his choice. So this is not a threat.
So when a toll has been elected, then they need to wait until that time that we will exceed so that if they are able to come.
The Central Organization of Trade Union KOTU has shrugged off the calls, claiming Gachagua is clinging on any straw to remain relevant in the political field.
We wish to inform him that trade unions are not political chaos created for overnight to satisfy wounded egos or personal vendettas. KOTU is a largely established national labor center.
Led by their chairperson, Reverend Joel Chebi, and the Deputy Secretary General of KOTU, Benson Okwaro, the union is accusing the DCP party leader of sowing seeds of doubt regarding the implementation of the recently announced 12% increment for general wages for workers and 15% for farmers announced on Labor Day in Vihiga County.
They should know that KOTU, we are doing what we are required, and we are elected individually through our, workers from industries.
Now, tensions ran high along the Oyugis Kendube Road in Homa Bay County after a border rider was killed in a road accident, sparking a violent mob attack on a lorry driver. The victim, identified as Victor Mondi, died on the spot after he was hit and dragged by a speeding lorry near Karabok Junction. These and more stories in our County News Roundup.
The driver of reckless driving as he was heading to Oyugis, an action that angered border riders and nearby residents. The confrontation soon turned chaotic, with the angry mob attacking the driver, leaving him unconscious at the scene. They burned his vehicle, which was later towed to Oyugis police station as investigations continue. And a family from Luyeke within Sangalong Division in Bungoma County are in dire need of assistance of transporting the body of the 53-year-old man who had gone looking for greener pasture in Garissa County but fell sick and succumbed. The family of Benedict Barasa Osore, a father of 8, is now appealing to the public for help in bringing his body back home.
Sasa sina msaidizi yoyote, naomba tu mwenye anaweza kunisaidia anisaidie mwili itoke Garissa kuja hapa. Sina mengine ya kusema.
Elsewhere in Mtwati Sub-County, Meru County, learners in 85 public schools have received a major boost after the national government disbursed relief food to schools in the area. Mtwati Deputy County Commissioner Joel Kieti noted that the food assistance provided by the national government through the Ministry of Special Programs will go a long way in ensuring the retention of children in schools.
Itahakikisha wanafunzi wamekaa kwa shule, watafukuzwa juu ya karo. Itahakikisha kwamba wazazi wataenda kujishughulisha na mambo mengine ya kulima kwa sababu tumepata mvua ya kutosha. Kwa hivyo hatakuwa na upungufu ya kupoteza wakati wa mashule zile zinapata hii chakula. Hii chakula msifukuze mwanafunzi kwa sababu ya karo. Akae kwa shule. Akule, asome. Kwa sababu chakula iko kwa kutosha. Hii tamu mimi sitarajii kupatana na mtoto pale kwa jia akisema amefukuziwa karo. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru serikali, hata mwalimu amekubali itatosha kwa huu muhula.
Finally, recent appointments to the board of Kisii National Polytechnic have sparked outrage from civil society activists in Kisii County who are now calling for immediate cancellation, warning that failure to do so could trigger protest. The board appointments controversy comes amid ongoing leadership disputes at the institution following the transfer of the principal, among other issues.
PS TVET Kenya, in fact, to follow up very quickly, else tutapanga maandamano kwa sababu haya maneno ambayo yamekuja ni wizi umepangwa ili kuiba pesa ya wananchi, na inahitaji ya kwamba yule ambaye atakuwa chair akona experience which is enough, managerial experience which is enough from the private sector or the public sector.
Now let's get to business news now. Business activities contracted in April as high fuel prices lifted average cost burdens and dampened customer demand. The latest Stanbic Bank Kenya Purchasing Managers Index shows that business conditions declined for a second consecutive month, with the reading for April at 49.4. Readings above 50 signal an improvement in business conditions on the previous month, while readings below 50 show a deterioration.
The headline Stanbic Bank Kenya Purchasing Managers Index had a reading of 49.4 in April, up from 47.7 in March, but remained below the 50.0 neutral threshold for the second month running. Stanbic Bank Kenya attributes the deterioration to the sharp increase in fuel prices due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. This has pushed up transport and production costs, forcing many businesses to raise prices. Consumers are now cutting back on spending, leading to reduced sales across key sectors such as retail, agriculture, and services. In response, businesses in Kenya reduced their output to a lesser extent compared to the previous month. In addition, higher cost and broader economic instabilities constrained business activity, but the softer fall in new orders alleviated some of these pressures. Despite these challenges, employment remains relatively stable. Companies continued hiring for the 15th consecutive month, although most of the new jobs are temporary, reflecting caution about the future. Business confidence slipped for the third month in a row, but remained positive overall. Furthermore, businesses look to develop plans, diversification efforts, and marketing spending as drivers of optimism.
And now Kenya is banking on the ongoing development projects in the Horn of Africa region to optimize Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia Transport Corridor LAPSET to boost trade and support economic growth. Regina Manyara was in Garbatula as the Kenya National Highway Authority tracked the progress of the Horn of Africa projects.
I am committed to delivering on that 750 kilometer of road from Isiolo to Mandera, because for a very long time we have left northern Kenya behind.
And as the multi-billion shillings project takes shape, once sleepy pastoralist outposts such as Kulamawe, Garbatula and Modagashe are growing.
Communities living along the project road at Kulamawe, Garbatula, Boji, Kambisamaki, Eldera, onwards. These are settlements along the project road. At the peak, we had about 600 number of these local staff employed within the project.
The Horn of Africa Development Project is upgrading this vital 100-kilometer plus feeder route, feeding traffic directly into Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia Transport Corridor, LAPSET's main link. In Garbatula, new businesses are drawing traders from across Isiolo.
At the peak, we had about 1,100 staff, both local and non-local, employed on this project. And therefore, these staff live within the project area and they promote local businesses.
Livestock markets, the backbone of socio-economic development here, is expanding, with herders moving animals faster while enhancing their income. Modagashe has a similar story, with business steadily growing while families enjoy smoother and shorter trips to their destination. And one town center right in the middle of this particular project is Galbatula. And according to experts, by May 2027, this is going to be a pivotal place to be or center for logistics as well as commercial development. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Galbatula.
And now let's get sporty for a moment. The reigning FKF Men's Premier League champions Kenya Police narrowed the gap between them and FC Leopards on the log following a 2-1 win over Murang'a Seal in the midweek match played yesterday at the Police Circle Stadium. Eric Zakayo gave Police an early lead in the 3rd minute before Victor Haki equalized for Murang'a Seal in this 37th minute. Aboud Omar netted the winner late in the second half to seal the all-important 3 points. Despite that victory, Kenya Police maintained their 3rd position on the table with 51 points, 4 behind AFC Leopards, while Gor Mahia lead with 64 points. Elsewhere, APS Bomet edged KCB narrow 1-0, while Bandari FC were held to a 1-1 draw by Postal Rangers.
Price Musebe acha kuikokota inaletwa nje kwake Joe Victor Haki Victor Haki Akwanyi kupitia mpira kama huu Aboud Omar Habib Papo kamba ukata jiwe hakuna jipya hakuna geni.
Now, before we end this particular segment, as Arsenal is, or rather it's official that Arsenal will play PSG in the Champions League finals on Saturday of 30th of May at Puska Arena in Budapest, Hungary. And this is after PSG beat Bayern Munich 1-0 yesterday night. And that's where we end the news on Good Morning Kenya here. My name is Giverson Maina, but the show continues on the other side. Mike and Eve are on standby. But before that, we take a short commercial break.
Education is the foundation of our nation's future, and its transformation begins now. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Education invites you to the 2nd National Education Conference 2026 under the theme Driving Education Reforms Through Effective Leadership, Accountability and Collaboration. Join education leaders, policymakers and stakeholders from 6th to 10th May 2026 at the Lake Naivasha Resort, together for transformative education reforms.
Kila mwisho wa juma kwenye runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima. Ni kipindi cha kila mtu,
iwe wewe ni mkulima mdogo, mkulima mkubwa, muuzaji au mnunuzi,
au yeyote anayenuia kuanzisha kilimo ama ufugaji. Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30,
ambapo kilimo na fursa zinapatikana.
Looking for sisterhood? Craving solidarity? Ready for a space where every woman belongs? Then Dada's Show is the show for you. As we discuss real issues, support one another, and celebrate womanhood the Dada's Show way.
I never felt this way before. You don't have other plans? How about you come to my place?
Back in the day, if you said that, it would mean you're firing us.
A personal matter affected you,
and your promotion. I'm really sorry. He lives here too. Every day. He only talks to the staff or the guests. Does he really know more about feelings?
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tunajifunza jinsi ya kukuza kitunguu saumu.
Ukitaka kupata mbegu, unaenda kwa mtu mwenye amelima, unaiona hapa, unaona ndio hii. Practically unaona kwa macho. Ninakuuzia garlic inaitwa roada. Hiyo roada unaiona wapi? Iko hapa.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
For many, a wheelchair is more than just a device. It is a vital tool for independence and bridge to the world. It transforms personal mobility, allowing persons with disabilities to engage in their daily endeavors on their own terms.
When we make spaces accessible, we are not making it just for the persons with disabilities. We are empowering whole families, communities, and the society at large.
There's a long journey with disability inclusion. The question is, are you part of it?
We understand the challenges that you go through, but having that wheelchair, that is your freedom, that is your privacy.
Join us this Saturday as we remind our community to not only build for one, but build for everyone. I'll see you then.
Perfect timing right here on KBC Channel 1. You're just in time for Future Voices, a chance that we give the youth of this nation to contribute to matters that drive national conversation. Last week we were talking about matters to do with campus politics, and today we continue with that conversation, and we are revolving around the topic, can the young generation influence real change? You know that campus leadership goes beyond representation to include matters of making students' voices being heard, and also it's a pathway to power. But then again, nowadays, are they creating a brand when it comes to campus politics? So we want to interrogate whether student leadership is producing influence, and this is where this conversation is happening. And for that, I have with me Purity Mutua, who is the Vice President, University of Nairobi Students Association. Karibu sana.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. I'm very good.
Karibu sana. And also we have Nyambeka Bridget, who is a coordinator, AYLF, KCA University Main Campus. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. AYLF. What is it?
Africa Youth Leadership Forum.
Africa Youth Leadership Forum.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, let's get into the conversation. I first want to get your view of how you feel the state of campus leadership from a general point of view. And I'll start with you.
Campus leadership generally is, I think it's more of performative rather than preparation. As much as we have campus leaders, most of them, I don't feel like we are there yet in matters getting ready for the outside world, in matters politics, in matters leadership, and it's something that needs to be looked upon and worked on. Yeah.
Purity.
I'd say mine is a slight drift from her opinion. Being in student leadership at the University of Nairobi is a real reflection of what national politics looks like, from campaigning all the way to elections, working with the different administrative bodies as well as even the ministry at times. I do understand that there's still a large gap between that transition, but it is equally as taxing for a young person immersing themselves for the first time into leadership, maybe. Yeah.
And you know, there's the aspect of integrity, and as a leader, Purity, how are you intentionally building a leadership brand that resonates with integrity and also professional reliability in as much as you are representing your fellow students?
One of the things that I have had to intentionally do is to be very clear about the values that I stand for. Why I say that is because we are a hotbed for political influence. I dare say we are interacting with politicians a lot more than any other profession, especially for student politics. And so, bearing that in mind, it is very easy to be corrupted quite fast, especially if you don't stand for something. And so the first thing is just awareness and intentionality in building a reputation that not only speaks to the demographic that you serve first before anyone else. Because this political sphere is based on interests. And so you have to define yours first before you come to the table.
And how is it, as a young lady who is in campus leadership, how is it for you? How do fellow student leaders take you, given that, you know, we've seen many young ladies now who are rising to positions of leadership, even going ahead to vie for political position towards 2027. How do you think they are taking your level or your leadership in general as a lady?
Number one, from the very onset, what I found as a stereotype was female leadership has been branded as poster girl. Umekuja hapo kusafisha poster.
Unaonekana tu.
Exactly, seen not heard. And you find that most of the time, decision making is not on our forte. Some female politicians are okay with that. They just want to ride with the wave, get what they can benefit from. But I had to be the type of person who not only says, but also keeps her word. So mine has been built by action, not by promises. So even when I presented myself for leadership, I had already had a track record. So mine was already something that was set on stone rather than something that was conflicted or abstract. So that is what the new brand of female leadership should be.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We're also joined by Joyce Nelly from Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. She is the Vice President of the Students' Organization. Karibu sana. How are you doing?
I'm okay, how are you?
Great. And karibu sana, thank you for making time. Just to get an overview, a question I asked the two ladies, what you make of campus leadership?
Basically, it's all that you do. The actions that you do just speaks louder. Yeah, you should be this person who just says, "Nitafanya hii," and you don't do. Yeah, as females, there's this stereotyping that inakwanga hapo. Wenye amesema wanasema uko hapo kusafisha posta. So yeah.
So it's like wanataka ukae hapo wewe usafishe rada.
So your actions.
Sorry about that. Uko hapo usafishe rada so that they can see that there is female representation. Those stereotypes. How do we break those stereotypes? Especially now that we are talking about young leadership of students who are trying to forge a path in that direction of leadership. How do we break those stereotypes?
Basically, as she said earlier, defining your values. Coming from an organization with a few core values, and that is life, standing for leadership, love, integrity, friendship, and excellence. It's about defining your core values, because if you're able to clearly stand your ground, if you're able to clearly know what you want in the leadership space, we can easily break the stereotypes, because if we continue going by the waves, we'll still be called the poster ladies, poster girls, just to be there for the show, but nothing to be seen.
Nothing to be there for the show, nothing to be seen. And you know, Purity, we're living in the age of social media. And how do you ensure that you use digital platforms to amplify your leadership voice, especially because students are on social media? You amplify your leadership voice as well as protecting your leadership and, you know, professional brand as a leader.
You'd be surprised. People think that leadership starts on X or on Twitter. Mine is on WhatsApp. And I have mobilized students. I have also given progress reports for students, because usually what happens is sometimes mistrust is built just because of silence. And so people don't see what is happening behind the scenes. We had to push for many things. One of them, like, we pushed for the accommodation fee in your end to reduce. And so what happened was, on a day-to-day basis, you have to keep updating people on what's happening, because we're working with a generation that has a lot of trust issues when it comes to leadership, and understandably so. We have a very mangled view on how leadership should be. And so my digital journey is on WhatsApp, communicating to the groups, because we have very many campuses in University of Nairobi. And WhatsApp is the quickest way. Instagram is for internal updates as well as external, just to see the growth of the university students alongside my leadership, because I always wanted to carry the students along with me in that journey. And that way I'm able to build a loyalty base out of trust, and that sense of security that whatever decisions I'm making, I have the students in mind. Yeah.
Joyce, when you look at leadership in general, and having interacted with fellow students, what do you think their perspective is when it comes to leadership?
Okay. They're like, uko hapo kuwatetea, wanasema ni hao unafaa kuwasikia, unasikiza ground. If you don't do that, they'll be on your neck. They'll be like, tunaweza kurusha mawe na tunaweza kutoa hapo anytime. So you see, like, the promises you made before you got into the office should be done. Juu ni wewe sasa wanakuangalia. Yeah, unafaa kunawatetea anything. Tuseme shule itakuwa inajaribu kuwapinga or wanataka kunyima some right, you're there for them. You're supposed to be like unawatetea. Yeah.
Bridges, is there a fear that sometimes student leadership is influenced by the university management in a way that makes them conform to what the university wants, not according to the needs of the students? Is there that fear?
Yes and no. At times, we find that university, the specific values or the something the university wants you to pass as a leader, and the leader who's at times they have contradicting, not personalities per se, but contradicting goals and visions. So at times there's that conflict, but when you find a leadership that aligns with the university's values, I believe that the university grows easily and minimal conflicts between students and leadership and the university in general.
Of course, there has to be a synergy between university management and student leadership. How is that cultivated?
Oh, well, entering into the University of Nairobi culture,
yes.
I had imagined that we would be the buffer, the middlemen, but you find that students would rather have you as the opposition. They view you as an opposition party. So, and so, I really do agree with Bridget in terms of having to really strike a balance. But at the end of the day, as an association, we represent the voices of the students first. Before we now meet the administration for discussion. And so we've had a lot of brushings. It's in our history, it's in our past, but at the end of the day, the administration has to be there. And so I think over time they've understood that if there's anything that really presses us as students, it must be addressed. And you see, in the UN, the slogan is, the comrade is always right.
Yeah, comrade.
Yes.
Comrade is always right.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that I was talking to some student leaders last week, and one of the things that came out during that conversation is matters to do with money and campus politics being infiltrated by aspects of tribalism. Have you had to deal with that in your leadership journey in school?
Yeah, sure, I have.
Take us through that experience.
Oh, when it comes to the tribalism thing, the one first, like, unapata, you get this tribe, they want to take lead every year. Like, let's say I'm a Luo, I'm the school president. So if my term is over, I'll be like, let me take this first year student who is a Luo.
Or you start grooming a person from...
Yeah. So you see, like, then unapata you are so much into politics and you are very sure he's going to win, so you're not giving the other people a chance to like represent themselves, you know. So like tribe imeshikilia hapo, wanajua hadi au wakikuja tuseme sini Wakamba tukikuja hapa obviously tutashindwa, so they have that in mind, which
it's not. Isn't there a reflection of what happens in our national politics, or what is it? What has led to the fact that now we have to deal with issues of tribalism at a school level, university level, where, well, leaders are being nurtured? Why is it that?
I believe that it's a matter of it's been passed on generation-wise. As much as we say that we are a different generation, that we stand for different things, that reflect on ground, things are totally different. Because when it comes to campus politics, I have been in the campaign period, and I see what happens. I see the way people, we have the associations, the tribal groups, and this tribal group supports a specific leader. They want, as much as we're seeing that we're in a generation that is of tribalism, in the leadership aspect, we still have a long way to go. We still have a lot of work to be done for us to be, say that we're finally free of matters, tribalism in Kenya and in leadership areas.
Purity, doesn't that water down the kind of leaders students elect? You know, you are electing somebody based on where they come from, as opposed to what they represent, the vision, the manifesto. Doesn't that water down the kind of student leadership that students want to have?
Yes, it does. And it's a real tragedy, because you'd think that by 2026 we would have been a digital era group, a new reform group. But it's true. They say Gen Zs are tribeless, but we are tribalistic. I've seen it in campus politics. Immediately campaigns come, people default into the de facto groups. However, I'd say there's that transition and awareness of it. Because, for example, like for me, I'm not fully Kamba. I am mixed. And so there's a lot of other mixed kids out there, people like me who are growing up in a heterogeneous kind of space. And so, unfortunately, the reality is when matters hit the fan, people default into tribal lines. And I think it's something that we'll have to break over a period of time. It's not just a quick switch.
Because I'm thinking, why do we have young people saying they are tribeless, leaderless, and everything when it comes to national politics? But then again, when it comes to campus politics, they are going back to the same things that they are fighting out there. Why is it that how can we remain true to ourselves? And how can student leaders remain true to themselves in as far as student leadership is concerned, and shun things like what we are talking about, tribalism?
Okay, so the tribalism thing should just end. As for me, you should give someone a chance to lead. If this person can lead, know that you're choosing someone according to the tribe or something, because like the person can just be there. Mimi nilisimamishwa nikaitua hapa, and there's nothing like he or she is not going to do anything or something, you know? Yeah.
Bridget, if we are to influence, or if young student leaders were to influence real change, and say, for instance, we want to deal completely with tribalism in student politics, where should they start?
From self. People say, the narrative out there again, we are tribeless, but when you go back to you as you are as a person, you as a leader, as much as you say, I want to fight for everyone, when it comes to controversial matters, what are you going to stand for? Are you going to go back to your tribe? Are you going to represent everyone as they are? Or are you going to just be as the current leaders we have today? So it's a matter of going back to our roots. As much as we are trying to remove the tribalism, we just go back to our roots, understand that we are all Kenyans, we're all fighting for the same thing, equality and fair distribution of resources, job opportunities. And that matter has to just really go down to yourself, to the people around you. Because leadership is not just about who you lead, but who you are as a person. Who are the people around you?
The people around you, and also have to look into yourself, like some sort of introspection to start with.
Yeah.
We are also joined by Paris Nyarinda, a student leader from Kenyatta University. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I am great, and I'm glad you've made it. I'll throw the very same question I threw to them at first. What do you make of student leadership today?
What do I make?
Of student leadership.
Okay, I've been serving as a student leader in Kenyatta University ever since I joined, like when I was in first year. So leadership, according to me, it has been diversified. When you come to KU, you'll get students like from all over the country.
Yes.
It's balanced. So, but when it comes to a female leader, it comes with a lot.
What do you mean a lot? Because there's something that she said. What do you mean that it comes with a lot? Is it because that you're a female student leader? Are the expectations more as opposed to a male student leader?
Yeah.
Why is it that they have more expectations on you?
They expect you to be perfect if you're a female leader. Whenever you do something slight, something that goes astray, like that a little bit, it becomes a big deal. You get some criticism.
How do you deal with that? Because that has to be too much, because I think that is some kind of favoritism on one gender leadership as opposed to being seen as a whole as a leader, regardless of whether you are male or female. How do you deal with such criticism? Has it reached a point where you feel like, you know what, it's not a matter of life and death? Has it?
Okay, you know, for a leader, you have to handle pressure. You have to know how to handle pressure. Yeah, so you have to manage yourself. In rooms where you feel like it's overwhelming, you're like, I got this.
What do you think the students that you lead, what is their perception of leadership? Because I asked her the same question. What do you think they think leadership is?
Leadership, it's responsibility, doing things even when no one is watching.
And how was your campaign like? Because now I'm intrigued to know, all of you, if you had to campaign, how was the campaign like?
Well, for our school, you have to be prepared mentally, financially, everything. Because we'll have bloggers. Most of bloggers will take you down, but you have to be there. You have to show them, I can do this. So for mentally, you need some therapies.
Because I understand.
Okay, after a whole day, you do like something, you chill. You just look what you have done today. And if you've done like something that you had planned for that day, you feel like, at least I'm somewhere, I can do it. You get some rest and wake up tomorrow again.
And will to continue doing it.
Exactly.
How was your campaign like? Or how was it?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, you have to prepare 6 months, if not a year in advance. For campaigns. We have 10 campuses across the country. So that and 50,000 students. So depending on the level of election, because we have the electoral colleges, that's the faculty level, and then now there's the council. So as the council represents the whole university in its entirety. So you can imagine there's the finances, there's the political strategies that you need, there's the resilience, because, for example, for us, by the time I got another female to join the campaign team, I had held the fort as the only female for months on end. And you have meetings at 3 in the morning. You meet delegates, because the council across the universities is a delegate system. And so that means you have to appeal to delegates every day. Academics, sometimes you really have to strike a very serious balance. But I'm fortunate enough, I handled both quite well. But it's taxing. And then there's also the pressure, external pressure from outside, because the UN alumni is one of the the most ruthless groups there is, because they hold people to a very high standard. And just to add on the female aspect, you see, as a female, you already have a higher moral standard placed on you than a male. leader. You've seen male politicians very scandalous, murder even, but it doesn't even come to the mind of the electorate that there's actually something very. In fact, I think we have a toxic relationship with leaders. You know, you want someone who has a level of scandal to him to at least prove his power or his influence. And so for us as ladies, we are held at a higher standard.
Do you think people know that it's unfair?
No, and you see, with politics, you have to be aware of those dynamics, and sometimes you have to take advantage of that as well. So usually with politics, it's may the best man win. And so that may mean having to be very aware, very real with the boulders or caveats that are already existing, and still pushing through to break through them.
Do you think student politics, campus politics, are strong enough to insulate a young leader to handle pressures when it comes to national leadership?
Yeah, sure. Because the comrades, like, they have so much pressure. Watu watakufinya. I remember there's this time niliambiwa tutakurusha mawe na tutakutoka ofisi.
Yes.
Because our culture week was to be changed.
Yes.
It was to be talent week. So they didn't want the name talent, they just wanted culture week.
Oh.
That's what they wanted, because they knew this way the administration was trying to change it. It was supposed to be purely educational week. So they already have the T. We call it, I forget. Okay, they have it. So they're like, mkishindwa kututetea tutawatoka ofisi. And they don't care. Yes, as much as you're trying, they don't see it. They want you to come with an information that, okay, it is proven it's going to be culture week. So that pressure, you can be prepared.
You know, when we come back to the aspect of tribal alignment, you know, they have been reported in, as we have discussed, campus elections. How do you ensure that your brand as a leader is issue-based as opposed to identity-based?
Okay, I'll go back to what I've been saying earlier. It's an emphasis, really, because when I look at how people handle things, and the campaign team you actually choose will really determine whether you will proceed or fail. Because as much as we're saying that in campus politics, as much as we're saying we're trying to be tribeless, when it comes back to campus politics, they really go back to their people. They lobby, because as I've said, in campus it's the delegates, then the student council. So the delegates you choose, the students are the ones who choose delegates. So they choose delegates according to, again, schools and those tribal factors. But now it's a really tough situation we are in, as much as it's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of will to actually get rid of the tribal bases in campus, because it's something that is rooted in the minds of people. And it's funny because is it 6 years after independence, we're still fighting with the same things that we had 60 years ago. So it's about choosing the right people, the right men for your job, as much as unfortunately the right men for the job are the same tribal people. So it's sad. I don't know, it's a very tough situation we are in, but I believe we are heading in the right direction. As the young people, we're becoming aware that yes, this is wrong, and we're trying to change that. We're trying to change that through having this tribeless campaigns and all whatnot. But it's a small step, but it's better than yesterday.
It's a small step in the right direction, because at the end of the day, whether it's starting from outside or from within, something has to shift, because this will translate, because these are leaders that will transition to national politics. So this is something that needs to change. As we go along, we are going to, when we come back, we're going to talk about mentorship and opportunity right here on Future Voices, and we are taking a short break. Stay with us, and we'll be right back after after this.
Acha nikwambie vizana. Wakati wako umeisha, na wakati wangu. Nasikia?
Lazima tutumie muda tulionao vizuri. Ongea nami tafadhali.
Kusudi la sarakasi ni nini?
Kwani Maimuna aenda? Kwani unafanya nini tena?
Toki hapa mpaka niyajadili ninayoongelea, sawa? Beko, niache.
Hebu nisikize.
Sitaki kusikiza, sitaki kuona.
Nikirudi hapa, sitaki kupata. Kishasikia?
Hebu fikiria environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
It's so much more than that. So the story is the story of the Bible, and it's taking you from creation or Genesis all the way to Revelation.
Using the latest light detection and 3D laser technology, you can literally interact with the walls.
Suddenly, I'm a little kid again, and I could go and create and paint on the walls.
I just wanted my mom to look me in the eyes and say, son, I love you at the end of the day, and give me kisses on my forehead, on my cheeks, but I never received that.
John Nicholas's mother worked long hours raising 5 children alone. The stress took its toll, and she took her anger out on her kids. When John was just 7 years old, his mother beat him with her high heels. This went on for years. By the time John was 15, his mother kicked him out of the house.
Tunajidai na lugha sanifu ya Kiswahili.
Leo twashiriki, njooni muwe na sisi. Sanaa ya Kiswahili leo imetufikia sisi.
Ni heri nikose usingizi baadaye kwa kuhitimu kimasomo.
Adhabu kali inapowekwa pahali popote pale husimama kama funzo kwa wahalifu wengine.
Unda majina mawili kutokana na vitenzi vifuatavyo. Ridhi.
Tunapata mridhi.
Tambua kishazi katika sentensi hii. Mbuzi walioibwa jana wamepatikana salama. Tambua kishazi. Naona Maria uko tayari.
Walioibwa.
Makinika, cheki wanafunzi wanavyozikwenda, utaona wengine wafanya hivi, wengine sijui wafanya hivi, wengine ni hapa.
Welcome back. You're still watching Good Morning Kenya. This is Future Voices, and we are talking about campus politics. And can young leaders, or can young generation of leaders influence real change? I'm having a panel of university students, a ladies panel, very brilliant ladies. And before we even get to mentorship aspects, I want us to talk about the vibrancy of student politics nowadays. And I'll start with you, Bridget. There was a time when campus politics used to be very vibrant, especially during the times of Akina Babu Owino et al. What do you think has changed?
The delegate system really ruined. I feel like it ruined campus politics. They were trying to curb from what I've heard, they're trying to curb that influence on students in the campus. Now, when the delegate system was introduced, now you have to look for delegates that will vote for the council. Now, the pain about having delegates is they can easily be bought off, or in worst case scenarios, on the campaign, on the voting morning, they're kidnapped. And it's sad because it happens and you can't do anything about it because they'll be released after elections for that they are done. So it's, let's say, the delegates voting is today, then 2 days later, it's for the council. But now when it comes after those, if you're not careful for those 2 days, or you're not kept, because when I was campaigning and when I was supposed to vie for delegates, I was like, they told me, after you are voted in, kindly stay together. They just warned us. And we had videos circulating that some people were sent guns, and it's unfortunate in a country where we're supposed to have democracy that we still have to buy off people, kidnap people to prevent some leaders from getting into positions. And that really affects vibrancy, because what's the point of me coming to vote for you if at the end of the day you'll be bought off or you might be kidnapped?
But then again, if there are kidnappings, then that elevates that instance to become a police case. If there are people who have, as you have put it, kidnapped. I don't know, does the same delegate system apply in your institution? What has changed since then?
Okay, the campaigns are not that sweet as they used to be. Okay, when I joined campus, I'm in year 2. When I joined campus, I was like, I know I'm going to enjoy the campaign, blah, blah, blah. When I came, I just got the delegate system and it wasn't that interesting. Okay, yes, you can appeal to a delegate and he or she can assure you that, okay, I will vote you in. But that morning, you just see the person with your opponent, they're talking. So in my school, there's this slogan, Ogopa delegate, because they can easily change their mind that day or even 1 minute before they vote. So
there's no political loyalty.
There is no political loyalty. Hey, Ogopa delegates.
What do you make of it? Is it the high time universal suffrage was brought back?
Yes, when universal suffrage was taken out by the Duale Act,
yes,
and that was what transitioned our association from SONU to UNSA. And that was because it was becoming a crime scene being a university student at that time. Universal suffrage allowed people to connect to the leaders directly. And so transitioning now from 50,000 plus students to convince to, for us in our case, 39 delegates. The 39 delegates are a lot harder to convince because now there's a lot of clamor for their attention, for their time. You put in a lot of work into also assisting them in their campaigns as well. So it has now created a very big gap between leaders. And so sometimes people feel like they're leading in a vacuum. And so moving forward, there's a conversation on, okay, so what happens now with the delegates? And so it has taken out our ability also to mobilize as extensively as we used to. And so you find that the vibrancy that we have been longing for has lost its flavor.
Its flavor.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would universal suffrage bring back that vibrancy? And also, would students be in a better position to elect leaders they really want them to lead?
I feel like for career students, if you get more, the most influential students, they can really vote for someone they want. But you know, this delegate system messed up with everything, because you get people are really wanting like that one person to be there by the delegate. Once they're bought, for us, it's not 2 days, then you vote for the council. Like that night, when you're voted in, you are kept in an enclosed room. They check on your phones and everything. But again, you are promised the world before you get there. So, yeah.
Would it also deal with the issue of tribalism, really?
the issue of tribalism has a lot of influence, or rather impact. Because in our school, if you don't have any law in your team, you can't be there. Like, they're the most influential. So if you want to win, you must get them so that they can support you fully. Yeah.
How much of an influence are the external forces? How much influence do they have when it comes to campus politics? We are talking matters to do even from political leaders at the national level, people with their various political interests. How much of an influence is there from outside when it comes to student leadership?
I'd say it's there's some level of influence, considering that some of the campaigns are funded by outside leadership. Some of the leaders that they promise you they will campaign for you, but now during this certain period, or take for example the Gen Z Mandamano, when we were mobilizing people to go out, we had leaders buying off campus leaders to keep university students in school by, let's say, parties. And several cases were there online, so the influence is there. As much as people say it doesn't really affect campus politics, it really does, because they fund the politics, they are the ones telling you, they want that political, ground from your school or from a certain area, and they'll do anything to get it. Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the aspect of mentorship and opportunity, because sometimes you mentioned something that I think is important. Some young student leaders feel like they're leading in a vacuum. Are there specific mentorship structures that need to be put in place to ensure that leaders are mentored, especially at the university level? Are there measures that need to be put to ensure that there is continuous mentorship?
Thank you for that question, because it's something that is at my core, especially once I got into leadership. You see, there's the haphazard few sessions that we have as leaders with the administration, and we have, I'd say, well-intentioned programs, but they're very brief. You see, with the university leaders, most of us student leaders use these positions as a launchpad into the political career. And I can promise you, like the University of Nairobi, there's a high guarantee that a good chunk of the leaders that we have started out here.
Exactly.
And so one of the things is, it's an idea that I propose to the university, is to have a leadership academy. Why I say that is because it takes a lot to come out on the other side of a political era as a student leader and still have the values that you once claimed to have in the beginning. You go through the process and your morals are mangled, are tested, you're tempted in all kinds of things. There's a political influence, very heavy. And I can promise you, most student leaders are being groomed by the politicians more than any other sector, whether it's corporate, NGO, CSO spaces. And so what that means is we've assumed that leadership is only political. And what happens in the process is, already we are not happy with the political class that is already there. But who is there to hold the hand of the student leaders that are there? It's the political class, because they understand the challenges we go through, and they create that opportunity to it's an incentive to gain access to you, kutumika vibaya pia, because at this state right now, we are hotcakes because we are leading up to 2027. And so you'll find people in rallies, you'll find people mobilizing students, you'll even find politicians using students, leaders to mobilize students to register at a certain electoral location, just so that they can push the numbers, because students are easy, quote unquote, fodder for people. So I'd say institutions should take up a very rigorous leadership structure where there's an intentional training, because they should be very aware that we are the next CSs, we're the next PSs, we're the next presidents. And so you nip the bud early on curtailing some of the vices that we cultivate here in student politics. And in other countries, like in South Africa, most institutions of higher learning, even before you're sworn in, they take you through like 2 months rigorous training, vetting. And you'd even find that someone might have been elected as president, but because of how rigorous the training is, they don't get it to swearing in. And so you find the second runners-up is the one that gets the position, because they become very aware of what it takes, or what the cost of leadership and how much taxing it can be. Because at the end of the day, most leaders, political leaders, student leaders, come out of it and say, I've literally sold my soul to appeal to the needs of the students. I might as well just take the money that I'm given. Because at the end of the day, there's no one to hold your hand. You have high pressure, high demand, not just from students, but from politicians as well. And so a lot of people get broken in the process. And so we churn out broken student leaders who become broken leaders in the end. Yeah.
What do you think? What steps should universities take to ensure that even as these leaders are getting elected, as she is putting it, there's a journey of mentorship? If it might not be as rigorous as she has given an example, but what do you think should happen?
I feel like it depends on the campuses. You know, most campuses within the Karod, that's UON, KCA, ZTech, MKU, KU. So that's where we have like a lot of population. So it's directly linked to the national politics. So you get some leaders like come to schools and stuff. So you'll get them, like you get that the VC or there's somewhere there's someone who's linked to them. So at some point, it's like being bought, because they'll come to school and say, where's the VC? We need some students to go through this, then this place to do this and that. So you say, okay, they can mentor you in some positive way, but again, you'll have to be used to be mentored.
Would that ensure that there is continuity of good leadership, good student leadership, especially in campus, if mentorship is availed to them?
I feel like it will be, because it can even bring the cross-university leadership, whereby every leader in every university speak one voice, and we can also like access the experienced leaders who can be there to mentor us and tell us whatever we are supposed to be doing, and tell us all about leadership. Yeah.
Across university leadership, how would that look like? Because I want to believe every student body in respective universities has unique needs. How would that work out?
As much as we have unique needs as a university, there's that one comrade voice that is usually cut across all universities. Let me take an example of when it comes to grading systems and marks. It's as much as we are in different universities, missing marks and missing out on your graduation is something that is across all universities, both private and public universities. And if we're able to get leaders to mentorship, that actually leaders speak one voice, we're able to curb very, and I have friends in, especially public university, for example, and I have a friend who had to graduate, is it 7 or 9 years later, simply because of marks that were missing from the system. And they had to follow up for so long until last year that they graduated. And if we're able to speak together as one voice, as leaders, that's something that should be a non-issue, considering that we've had the education system in place for so long. And when it comes to also matters, fee increments, there's so many issues that we are facing as university students across the country. And cross-university leadership is something that should be implemented to ensure that it's capped, or complete elimination is practically impossible, but we can cap it down to a certain level.
It can be mitigated.
Yeah.
Purity, what do you think? Beyond student politics, are there practical opportunities that student leaders can look for, even students can look for to sharpen their governance skills?
Definitely. A lot of reading. People need to be readers of history, because history will always repeat itself across the board. And I appreciate what you said about having the cross-university integration. But you see, what has happened is we've been polarized by the political class. And so sometimes you don't even see the institution. Sometimes you see that this is, let's say, Wamonyoro, this is a Wamonyoro space or something else. That would then mean that we'd have to think about even these issues of tribe. We have to look beyond tribe and find a common value that goes beyond it. The Tanzanians have so many tribes, but there's a value that holds them together. That the first thing that comes up when they see a leader is not about he's come from this place or he's come from this place. And I think for us as Kenyans, I believe we are the most brilliant, one of the most brilliant Africans, and even in the global space. But we need to move beyond Kiki and whatever to pursue meritocracy in everything that we do. And for that to be the case, that would mean that I, as a leader, would have to be very intentional about my training, attending fellowships. There's many leadership fellowships that are coming up, both locally and internationally. Engaging across other leadership sectors.
Let me cut you short.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
We are going live at in Nakuru, Naivasha, where the second Ministry of Education conference is happening, and the theme of that conference is driving education reforms through effective leadership, accountability, and collaboration. Our reporter Joseph Wahungu is on standby to bring us up to speed with what is happening over there. Over to you, Wahungu.
Well, thank you very much, Mike Migwi. Of course, we're coming to you live from Lake Naivasha Resort in Naivasha for the second edition of the National Education Conference. And of course, this is a very, very crucial event in the calendar of education in the country. We know that a lot is happening. The schools have just opened for second term. Learners are just settling in. But today, we are having thousands of students who will be coming here to discuss matters education, matters infrastructure, matters school fees and things like that. So, of course, we will be waiting to hear what happens here. We expect the president will be here for this event. We expect that the Ministry of Education officials, led by the CS Migos Ogamba, will be here, of course, to lead this event. But we already have very many delegates who have already arrived. And with me, of course, here is one of the delegates who is going to tell us his name and, of course, to tell us briefly about this event. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you? Good morning this morning. Tell us what your name and where you're coming from.
Thank you very much. I'm Abdikadir Ali Kosar. I'm from Mandera County, Mandera North Sub-County. I'm a Sub-County Quality Assurance and Standards Officer. This is a very important conference. It's an educational conference. I think this is the second educational conference, and I expect we'll be getting a lot of information from here, because basically why we're here is just to improve the quality education our children get, and we're very much prepared to listen from our senior officers so that we improve the education system in this country.
And improving education system in the country, what exactly are we talking about? Are we talking about infrastructure? Are we talking about the quality of learning? Are we talking about what learners go through in classes? What are some of the challenges probably do you think that we need to work on right now to improve the quality of education?
As you know very well, we are implementing the CBE, curriculum-based education. And as usual, when a system is very new, it has a lot of challenges. So it is here that we are going to learn a lot on how to overcome all those challenges, because, of course, we have high enrollments, we have infrastructural challenges, and we are prepared once policy papers are unleashed, we are ready to implement it.
Thank you very much, sir. Of course, our guest coming all the way from Mandera, and he will be here together with many others from different parts of the country. We're expecting guests from Mandera, from Mombasa, as far as Kisumu, western part of the country. Basically, every part of the country is here, and as you can hear from him, improving the quality of education will be one of the most important aspects of this meeting. So of course it's a 5 days event from the 6th to the 10th, and of course we'll be coming back to you. We will be having a note, of course, at the background. So back to you, Migwi. Of course, we'll be here to tell you more as the conference proceeds.
Thank you so much, Wahungu, for that update. And of course, we shall be bringing you more on the events as they unfold in that conference. Coming back to our conversation right here. Purity, you are executing your point on what practical opportunities that students can explore to enhance their governance skills.
Yes, thank you so much. I touched on being readers of history and understanding where we've come from as a society, as well as reading former leaders as well and leadership across the board. Most people shy away from understanding the kind of leadership that is, let's say, for example, Adolf Hitler. But it is very important to interact and understand what exactly not to become, because it's easy to become it. And you see, sometimes we work in this utopian world where we assume that I'll become a good leader, but there's very serious moral failings that we come with as human beings. And so being very aware and conscious of that helps us to become better leaders as we move on forward. And not just as me as a leader, but also the moral feelings of a society. For us, we struggle with integrity as a society here in Kenya. And it's a culture that we always assume that we should crucify the leaders for, but it's filtered down to us as people. Apart from that is also personal training. For some people, it's also religion in terms of grounding their values and principles and knowing the limits as to where you cannot go. And most importantly, the best book to read is the very people you serve. I think most people come with this abstract idea of what leadership should be, but it's mostly supposed to be shaped by the very needs of the people that you serve. And that actually creates a very stable grounding effect as a leader, and also remembering where you've come from and the responsibility that is on your shoulders to carry. Yeah.
And when you think about it, should we have a structured mentorship system within higher learning institutions to ensure that, yes, we have student leaders, but it will be easy for them to transition to national politics? Should we employ such systems?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it should be. And that is where, okay, we can be given access to the leaders, the experienced ones, so that like they can help us when it comes to the mentorship thing. Yeah.
Indeed. We are going to take a very short break, but I have 2 minutes and I want to hear from you. If you are to transition student leadership to national leadership, what sort of structured mentorship system should be put in place?
Okay, I'd speak for what I've been part of for the past 4 years in campus, three years in campus. So Africa Youth Leadership Forum, we have mentorship sessions. So we have the student leadership development and various mentorship sessions inside the organization. And we have been in contact with industry experts to actual leaders in government. And it's something that they tell us what is actually happening. You're connected to a mentor. You're connected to someone who's already serving there. And they tell you what's happening so that when we go out there, you don't have that culture shock, because there's the university level and there's something you face at the university level. But when it comes to the national level, it's a lot you have to be ready for. It's a lot that you have to be mentally prepared for. Apart from, you're told that you have finances and whatnot, but the mental preparation is very key when it comes to mentorship. So it's more of getting in touch with leaders who are actually facing and leaders who are intentional and willing to actually guide the young people into getting into the leadership aspects.
Intentionality is the word. We are going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we are going to wrap this conversation. Stay with us.
Education is the foundation of our nation's future, and its transformation begins now. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Education invites you to the second National Education Conference 2026 under the theme Driving Education Reforms Through Effective Leadership, Accountability and Collaboration. Join education leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders from 6th to 10th May 2026 at the Lake Naivasha Resort, together for transformative education reforms.
My name is Irene Muigai.
My name is Steve Muigai Kim. We met at campus at Egerton University, Joro.
I just saw a guy and we grew to be very good friends.
Lakini alikuwa anakatiwa anakuja ananiambia niliachwa.
And he asked me to be the girlfriend.
Dad did not attend their wedding.
Mom, dad ako wapi? Kwani hawajafika? My uncle had to be pulled.
We differed. Ile mbaya ile ya kuachana just because of a key holder. Was it a key holder?
And so I'm very intentional as a mom to help my kids process things.
Who apologizes first after a fight? Oh.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. You're watching Future Voices and we are dealing with matters to do with campus politics. And the question we are asking is, can the young generation influence a real change? And speaking of a real change, I'll ask you this. What do you think would take for a student leader or student leadership today to influence national policy, not just campus policy? What would it take?
So I don't believe leadership in politics. You know, there's a difference between leadership in politics and politics leadership. So as long as you are leadership in politics, you can manage the outside politics because you already know the do's and the don'ts, how to handle things. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the most important step is deal with what you have right now. Most people kind of put one leg into national politics and student politics when they get into office. And you find that it is the same mentality that will spew into our leadership transitioning. This thing for lazima ukule side zote. So there's leaders who've never influenced student policy to begin with. So what makes you think that they'll influence national policy if it's not maybe an auctioned bill that you have to be paid for you to lobby for? I think people have to be very intentional with where they're placed at. And I think for us as a council, we were one of the first to actually push to influence policy. We did policy reviews for students. We were even, we left a draft for the student death policy. There's no student death policy across the universities apart from one institution. And we want University of Nairobi to be very clear about what happens when a student passes on. And so you can imagine, if you're able to do that institutionally, it will be very easy for you to know how to move into national politics and influencing real policy, because policy has to come from a deep understanding of the demographic you're serving. That is why you find very mismatched policies that are churned out today. It's just because maybe someone thought of an idea that would probably benefit him or his business or enterprise that he has on the side, or the people that he's being puppeteered behind that puppeteer him. So start from where you are. Do you actually influence the institutional policies that you have? Then transition, and that also creates a learning curve, immersing yourself in understanding what it takes to make policy and to influence it with intentionality, not just because we're handling the mood swings of an executive. Yeah.
Do you think there is a clear path to what she is saying in terms of influencing policy beyond institution? Do you think there's a clear path for that?
Yeah, sure. I'll just add on what she has said.
Yes.
You have to deal on what you have. Like, that's why you're supposed to be solution oriented, and you're also supposed to be speaking with data, not just with the passion
You know, youth inclusion has often been used as a buzzword. Bridget, how can young leaders ensure that they have a real seat at the table where the decisions are being made rather than just being a face for the campus?
Okay, I'll go back to both the ground, the common wananchi, and as well as the people in leadership. Currently, we're complaining that we have a lot of the older generation occupying leadership spaces, but we forget that the older generation were chosen by the common wananchi. So we have to start changing the narrative from the common wananchi, because we have to start integrating youth in leadership making decision. Before election, we have this passing of the bill, we have community engagement, and we have to start seeing who's suitable for the next leadership role, because right now we have the narrative of Ruto must go or yada yada, but do we really have someone we are ready to take, who's ready to take up the leadership role? Because we can't be chanting something that we have no solution for. So intentionality, having solution-oriented problems, because we might be bringing up problems, but do you have solutions for them? So it's about starting to integrate youth in decision-making so that by the time we are actually sitting down to choose people, we can see that this person can actually lead, think about the people, and sit down, see a problem, and come up with a solution for it. Yeah.
I want us to close this discussion with this one last question. Each, I'll take it as your closing remarks. What do you think is the future of student leadership in as far as influencing change within institutions and even at the national level is concerned?
I feel like when you're already prepared, like mentally, that you want to serve in the national politics, you'll always be ready for anything. So by that, you'll start sharpening the skills if you want to, and you have to deal with a lot of things. So yeah.
Purity.
The future of student leadership is intentional. The future of student leadership goes beyond tribe, location, locality, status quo, class, and building towards the vision that even our forefathers had. Because we always keep saying that we hold a vision of our forefathers, and even our forefathers are disappointed. We still don't hold that vision.
Yeah.
The future of student leadership is also a leadership that recognizes that leadership is not just in the political space. And I do hope that other industries, society groups, organizations are able to gear leadership across the board. And I think the future of student leadership is a hopeful one. It may sound unrealistic or utopian, but it is hope that builds societies towards a better future.
Indeed, indeed. Joyce.
Okay. The future, okay. I normally say that the future is not ahead of us, it's within us. So we're supposed to like work so that the next leadership should be hopeful, just as she has said.
Bridget.
I believe it's time to move from performative leadership to actual preparation for the road ahead of us, because student leadership is supposed to prepare you for the national leadership, but in most cases we find that it's performative. You are acting as a puppet for someone, or just there to get what you, again, leadership and politics is all about interest. So if you're there just to perform and serve your own interest, we are not heading to the right direction as a nation. So it's about time we start actual preparation for the future leadership, because we are the next leaders. We're the next people who are supposed to move Kenya from point A to point B. And we don't want a nation where that our kids or our grandkids will be like, what are they doing? Because it's the same thing we're asking the people in leadership, what are you doing? What are you benefiting our country? Why are we suffering? And yet you're supposed to be helping us. So the moment you start moving from performative leadership to actual preparation to actual intentionality is when we'll start seeing change as a nation.
Ladies, I thank you for making time. Asanteni sana. And I wish you all the best in your leadership journey. You do right by what you're mandated to do. Yeah. I have been having a conversation with Purity Mutua, who is the Vice President, University of Nairobi Students Association, and also Paris Nyarinda, who is a student leader at Kenyatta University. Nyambeka Bridget is a coordinator, AYLF KC University main campus, and Joyce Nelly, who is the Vice President of Student Association at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. My name is Mike Migwi. Thank you for tuning into this conversation. Up next is Imnyaga with yet another conversation, but also she will steer you throughout the rest of Entertainment Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. This is KBC Channel 1. Stay with us.
Take a